Next, we hear from ScotRail's Adopt a Station manager. In February 2024, she came to visit our station and gave an impromptu interview while she was here.
Right, my name is Sandra Rutherford and I work for ScotRail in the Adopt a Station Communities programme. And I'm here at Blair Atholl to have a look around and hopefully help encourage the Friends of Blair Atholl to make it a pretty place. I've had quite a long history in ScotRail, doing various jobs, booking office, and I was also a conductor working out of Perth. So coming up to on the Highland Line was one of my main duties. I loved it. I love the Highland Line. Going up to Inverness, it's wonderful. So one of my earliest memories is we had a train that would leave Perth very early in the morning, just after 5 o'clock in the morning. It would come up to Blair Atholl and it would terminate. It would come up empties, and it was for the first commuter train coming out of Blair Atholl. You'd stand there, 5:30 in the morning, pitch black in the winter, standing on the platform, seeing your breath in the air because it was so cold, and you'd be there for such a long time. We had to wait on the first freight train going north to pass us. They needed to pass us because if they got stuck, then we couldn't go down the hill again. They had to pass us. So I remember standing there, looking around. It would be dark, it'd be nice, and then you'd see the sunrise come up over the hills, and that's one of my nicest memories. One of the times I remember standing there thinking, I'm going to remember this always, because it was beautiful. You know, the hills, the sun breaking through, and just the nice quietness, I think, of Blair Atholl, just standing there thinking, this is lovely. I'm going to remember this. But Blair Atholl, you know, is unique. You can smell the Highland air. There's no taint of pollution or anything. It's lovely. One of the good things about being a conductor, I was on the train one day, waiting on passengers, you're off and on, and someone said my name, and I turned around and it was my husband's old neighbour. They grew up together. He was a few years younger than my husband, and they palled about for years, and then off he went into London, Edinburgh, wherever. We lost touch. For decades we lost touch. And then one day he gets on the train and says, oh my goodness, Sandra. And we got back in touch. And it was wonderful because then he visited us with his family and we went to visit him. And I don't think we would ever have made contact again without him jumping on my train. So that was nice. That was really nice. I passed out as a conductor. So it was my first week on my own. I was coming up to Inverness, and it was just actually between Pitlochry and Blair Atholl. And there was a little old lady in one of the seats, and I'd been keeping an eye on her since Perth because she was too white. Are you okay? No, yeah, I'm fine. And at one point I thought, I don't like the look you're too pale. So I spoke to the hospitality girl and I got her some water. And then, as I said, in between Pitlochry and Blair Atholl, she collapsed. And it was one of those, oh my goodness, with other passengers, got her upright, asked somebody to sit with her. And I put out an announcement on the train. Is there any medical professional on board that could help me? Could you please come to the rear of the train? And about 5 people turned up. Doctors, there was a paramedic, there was a nurse, and there was someone who taught first aid, and they all came to help. She had passed out through heat exhaustion and she was okay, but I put her into first class so I could keep an eye on her. But yes, everybody in that coach was like, oh my goodness, they got up to help, and everybody kept an eye on her. It was very nice. So yes, I agree, I think people do come together. And if you have to stop at any point, if you have any delays, be truthful with people. If something has went pear-shaped, people will understand. They really do. And on this line, it can go pear-shaped because you're single track for most of it. And as long as you tell them, well, there's a coup on the line and we're going no place. They're very good, they are. I think one of the times I was not on the train had come down from Inverness. It was actually, we were leaving Perth. And the air conditioning cut out completely. And it was really nasty because it was a hot day. And it was a 5-car, so you've probably seen them come through. So you've got a 3-car in the front, and that's where hospitality was. But as a conductor, you're supposed to be in the rear of your train. The whole idea is a driver's at the front, so you've got a crew member in the front, and you've got a crew member in the rear. And you can't walk between the two different types. So I was in the rear, the air conditioning went off. In fact, it did start to blast hot warm air. And that would have been okay-ish. But then there was delays. There was track circuit failures all the way into Edinburgh. And I was honest with people. I walked through. At one point when the train was stopped, I phoned the signal. I got permission to come down off my train, go into the other one, grab some water from hospitality. Just not a lot, in a bag, back on my train, and handing it out to people just sips at a time if they needed it. And because you're visible, because you're talking to people and saying, look, this is what's wrong. When we eventually got into Edinburgh, the amount of people who came up, tourists who'd been away up to Inverness, so this was a long, long journey, would come up and say, thank you very much for that, that was good. They were about 2 hours late, but they were thanking me because they knew what was going on. And people do pull together, because when I was saying I don't have a lot of water, other people would say, well, I do and I'll share it. It was really nice, I think people are nice.